All right, good morning. We are on the 17th of November, 2023. It's about noontime here. Out here feeding the deer. All right, I get right into my spiritual lesson today, and it dovetails into my archery lesson, or my archery videos. Last evening, I shot a buck deer with my longbow, and it was in the twilight. I wouldn't even call it twilight. It was beginning to get a little bit hard to see. And I essentially could not find my arrow and could not find blood, but I felt sure that I'd hit the deer. And I thought I hit the deer in the front of the body and low, which is usually very good. So I went out there this morning, and we finally found a little bit of blood, and I mean very little. And I followed a likely path, and sure enough found the arrow. Bottom line, not to dwell too much on it, but the deer was unrecovered and not recoverable. Now I'm going to show you the arrow, and let me see if I can. I'm thinking I can do it here. Yeah, here it is right here. All right, here's the arrow, 2 arrows. Here's the one that I found. I don't know if it'll focus or not. And of course the point is off. And now I'm going to show you a one with the point on it. And I'm going to show you how far it went in. It went in that far. It got blood up to right there. And that's all. That is about 4.5 inches penetration. The arrow had good blood on it up to about right there. As far as it went in, and it fell out or was knocked out by the fleeing deer, and the arrow was recovered with no point on it. There it is right there. Probably not going to focus. It may. There it goes. Now I see why people put their hand behind it, so the camera will focus up close and not on the animals out there. Okay. So I am the spiritual lesson that I learned. Now I'll tell you, last night naturally when you shoot a deer and can't recover it, and you know you're gonna have to go out there the next morning and find it, it disrupts your sleep a little bit. Sometimes you dream about it. It was a nice buck. So I philosophized last night that I would focus on the lesson from this incident, however it turned out. It could have been 3 outcomes. One of them is that I couldn't find the arrow at all. Another one was that I killed the deer and I would find him pretty quick. And the other one is what happened. I found the arrow and it didn't go in very far, and the deer is nowhere to be seen. There was one of the merest blood trails of any tracking job that I've ever done. I'm quite sure that the deer is not dead, and I'm relatively sure that this won't kill the deer. But because I can't tell you exactly where I hit him because of the low light conditions, I really can't say. Now, to say that I am disappointed would be a correct statement. And what I'm disappointed in is not that I didn't get the deer. I'm disappointed that I did not make a good shot. But I'm further disappointed, and even more disappointed, and the reason that I didn't make a good shot. Okay, I'll tell you the story. I was in the Millennium tripod stand in a very good location. About 30 minutes before I actually shot this deer, a doe came up and started feeding up under one of the live oak trees, fairly close range, but I couldn't even think about getting a shot. I could only see a flick of an ear here and a tail there, and then she finally went off in the other direction. A little while later, here comes a doe running pretty quick right in front of me and just runs right on by and doesn't stop. So naturally I got alerted and I said, hey, let's go back just a little bit. I was already saying to myself, the clock is going to run out here on light before that deer under the tree steps out. And sure enough, it got darker and darker and she never did come out. But now here comes the doe running by. So I got ready, and a few minutes later, here comes the buck chasing the doe. So he gets up and is coming through an opening where I had a shooting lane, and at close range, by the way, considerably less than 20 yards. But remember, it's already getting low shooting light. So I told myself before, while I was watching the doe, I will not take a shot unless it is a perfect shot, close range, the deer standing at the correct angle, the deer does not know I'm going to shoot, and I can see well enough to execute the shot. When the buck came up, I did the little meh, meh noise and stopped the buck right in the shooting lane, and I took my shot. I did come to full draw, and I did hit the deer. I could hear it hit the deer. Couldn't see the arrow. It was getting too dark. And the deer ran off, and I only found the arrow this morning. I'm disappointed because I did not do what I said I was going to do, which was not to shoot unless I had a shot that was consistent with the weapon that I was holding. I was holding the longbow. I broke all those rules. I took a shot in low light. I took a shot on a deer that did not present me with a very calm demeanor where I could take and hold for a few seconds and get a good shot. And I also hurried the shot. I broke all the rules. Now, if I had been holding my crossbow with the lighted reticles and the telescopic sight, it would have been a piece of cake. But I wasn't. The circumstances that I was presented with would have been the correct circumstances to use the crossbow. And I would have killed the deer. I almost certainly would have gotten a heart shot at that range and killed the deer. So the problem was that I took a shot that was not a good shot for the weapon that I was using, and I messed up. I wasn't patient. If I had been patient, I never would have gotten a shot with the longbow. I would have had to just let it go. And that would have been that. So I wasn't patient. I was trying to get more than the circumstances provided me. My conclusion is not to quit hunting with a longbow and always use a crossbow, but my conclusion is, if I'm going to hunt with a longbow, then I need to be taking shots that are high percentage shots with the longbow. that means I'm going to get less shots than with my crossbow. Okay, so that requires patience too, because I want to use my longbow. I'm not hungry. If I was hungry, I'd have been sitting there with a shotgun. And I probably would have got both those deer. I'm not hungry. I'm hungry to get closer to Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. That's what I really am hungry for. I want to display the fruits of the Spirit. Chief among these fruits of the Spirit is patience. So in a sense, I was greedy for success. God did not give me a shot that would have worked with the longbow. Oh, I might 1 in 10 times get that shot and get a deer, but I didn't. It's a low percentage shot. So I'm saying that for whatever weapon that you're using, I think some thought into exactly what is your goal. Is your goal just to go shoot at a deer willy-nilly and not win a low percentage shot? Possibly, if you're on a management area somewhere and it doesn't matter to you. Maybe if you've never shot at a deer, then might want to do that. But at my age and my experience, my goal is to make a clean shot. My goal is to be patient. My goal is to take what God gives me. And He did not give me a shot for a longbow last night, but I took it anyway. I don't know if that deer is going to live or not. I don't know if I would rather have just found the arrow in the ground with a clean miss. I wounded that deer. Harm came from me not being patient. I lost time in looking for the deer. The deer got hurt. Maybe killed, probably not. I don't know, but that arrowhead's got to be somewhere. It wasn't on my arrow. That arrow hit a bone. It hit something really hard. And it's probably still in the deer. So my lack of patience caused me to lose prestige as a bow hunter in my own estimation. Everybody does it, by the way, misses deer. I started not to say anything about it. Why should I tell YouTube out there that I'm screwed up? Well, because I think it's a lesson that I learned, and I don't think it would be bad for other people to take notice of it. And yes, I had to swallow my pride a bit to go ahead and tell you what happened. But I think it's for the best, And trying to appear to be something that you're not is not doing anybody any good either. And I'm not perfect. Now, the real shame here is to not learn from this lesson. So I am resolved. I will not take a shot that is not a high percentage shot. That is that for the weapon I'm using, the deer has to be at the correct angle for the weapon that I'm using. The light conditions have to be right. I need to have practiced my weapon to the point that I know what I'm doing. And I need to be ready to let deer walk if those conditions are not met. Now that is my resolution. I'm resolving to do that. But that doesn't mean that I'll do it, because we are in a fight. We're in a war. We're in a war of flesh against the spirit. It is a continual war. And last night, the flesh won, and the spirit did not win that battle. The Spirit told me not to take a stupid shot, but the flesh told me take a stupid shot and maybe you'll get lucky. Now this all happened in a split second now. Not a whole lot of time to think about it. Let me see if I can get a little closer here. Now here's my this little 4-point buck out here is the one I've been telling you about. He's gotten more and more used to us. There he is. He's been in here about a month. He jumped in here to breed these does, and he's getting more and more used to us. That's probably not a legal deer in our county. Our county has one of these rules that I think it has to be a 6-point. That's a 4-point right there. Now I could take my crossbow right now and probably put him out of his misery. And he's in misery out there. Those does are driving him crazy. He's taking a big chance. But 2 or 3 months ago, that deer was a strictly wild deer running around out there. And he found him a spot where he could jump over. And he has come in here. Yeah, that's about as close as he's come. Right there. There he is right there. I could kill him right now with a crossbow, but not even then, because it might hit the fence and deflect it. But I don't want to do that, even if he was a legal deer. I'm glad he's found him a refuge in here. The place where I shot that other buck was in an urban setting where, honestly, the deer are overcrowded anyway. But that's no excuse for me making a bad shot and being impatient. Patience, as I say, is one of the key fruits of the Spirit. I hope that I can learn that lesson. And I hope that my confessions to you out there might help you resolve to be more patient hunters. Now, I do want to call the lost sheep. Any of you out there that are on the verge or have been thinking about coming to Yeshua, Jesus, I would really love to encourage you to do that. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. You say, Jesus, please save me. I accept your offer to forgive my sins, and I want the promise that you made to resurrect me from the dead when I die and give me eternal life with you in a place that will know no sorrow, no tears, nothing but joy, perpetual, forever and ever. And that doesn't sound too exciting to us because we don't know what it is. But I can tell you this, in my opinion, is all I can tell you. We will not miss what we had down here. We will be perpetually saying, thank you, God, for this world that you've put me in, and for the joy, for the happiness, for the excitement that I'm having. So I expect heaven will be exciting also. We know that in heaven there is no marriage and giving in marriage. Jesus made that clear. So we know there's not going to be any fleshly marriage type thing. But I guarantee you, I can't guarantee that. I can only speculate and tell you that I believe that we will not miss it at all. Jesus will have something for us to do. All right, that's my little lesson about patience. I'm not going to lay the crossbow down, and I'm not going to lay the longbow down. I'm resolved that I will use them according to the limitations of each weapon. All right, you see the deer out there. There were 2 fawns out here. There's one there. The other one disappeared. I don't know. It's pretty rough life out here in the world for these deer. Things are after them, including us. Look at these guys a little bit. All right, some of you guys are commenting on the video and saying that there is this stuff I'm talking about is nonsense and there's no Jesus and all that. I want to challenge you out there that can't see Jesus. The challenge is this. Ask Jesus to show himself to you. Say, "Dear Jesus, I know you're pretty important in history. I mean, that's hard to deny that. There's no other man in the history of the world that even comes close to you. Would you please reveal yourself to me according to your promise that if I should ask, you would give me an answer. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find." All right, this video is going 21 minutes. The Confessions of a Longbow Archer. And I know I'm not the only guy that ever shot a deer and didn't find him. But if that happens again, I hope it happens because when I've done everything reasonably possible to make a decent shot. No more shooting in dim light with a longbow. No more shooting at deer in a hurry. No more shooting at deer that are standing at the wrong angle. That is my prayer. God, give me the strength, give me the patience to represent my sport in a sporting, godly way. All right, this is Gardner Israel signing off.